When a person gets everything he wants, then everything becomes poison to him. Because the lust of that person continues to grow, it is obvious that it has been paid to achieve anything. Hey everyone, welcome to Mystery Explained. Today I will show you a thriller film from 2019. The movie is titled The Room and IMDb rating 6 out of 10. So let's start. The movie's main characters include a boy Matt and a girl Kate. It is a young couple. They purchase a manor in a small city. Matt is an artist while Kate is a translator. But both had quit their jobs and they had to do something new. The surrounding of their new manor has nothing where they are shifted. But that manor is spacious and splendid. While checking the house, Matt finds a very unique room. And they also get the room key from the things in the house. As they go to open that room, the voltage fluctuation of the house is started. And lights are switched off with it. The next day, they take an electrician to the basement calling him. And Matt is surprised going to the basement. Because the basement is full of electric wires. No corner was without electric wires. And there is a light and wheel exactly at the center in the basement. These lights are lightening while the house lights are off. An electrician takes this setting very odd. So he's unable to help them anyway. But going away, he says to Matt, "You purchased this house which was empty for a long time. I am shocked at it." And he more tells a strange thing that its previous residents were killed. Hearing it, Matt feels fear thinking that we are living in such a house where someone has been murdered. And it was obviously threatening to them. She hides this conversation from Kate but searches through social media. Then he comes to know that a boy killed a couple living in this house in the year 1975. But the reason for the murder is unknown till today. Afterward, that boy was sent to a psychiatric hospital. After it, Matt stays in that room alone taking a lamp. And he wishes for the other alcoholic drink. And a kept lamp beside him fluctuates and light is gone for a time. As the electricity comes on, he finds an alcoholic drink in front of him. Seeing it, he is afraid of this happening. This bottle is like his own bottles. Waking up in the morning, Kate notices that all house lights are fluctuating. And then she visits that room to see Matt. As Kate enters that room, she finds that room filled with different things including paintings, dresses, and many more things. And then Matt informs Kate, "This room can provide us with our wished things." And Matt asks her to desire. Kate says on it, "Give me a good job." On it, Matt explains to her that this room provides things, not jobs. Just desire for a thing, you will get it. Then she desires money. Then they find money in the corner as the light fluctuates. First of all, Kate dislikes it. Matt clears up. But they become covetous after that. They wish for different alcoholic drinks, diamonds, expensive ornaments, dresses, and arrange parties. And it continues for many days. And they make a money wall. They have taken many things from that room. They have amused and enjoyed much from it much. But this room is going to be useless. Kate is depressed about it. And Matt talks about the baby but Kate does not agree with it. Because she had already lost her 2 babies. They both argue. Matt goes outside to freshen him. And Kate remains at home in depression. A thought comes to her mind and she wishes for a baby to go in that room. He also gets a baby in return. When Matt comes to his house, he is surprised to see the crying baby, shouting at Kate. He clears that we had to wish for things, not any human being. What did you do? What may be the consequence? They cannot return the baby back and had become over sentimental. Matt searches the article about this house murder on the internet. Then he knows the killer's name was John Doe. And he had killed them because of this room's wish. And he visits psychiatric hospitals to meet that killer. Reaching there, John Doe knows that they are living in the same house. On it he says, "Leave the house as soon as possible." Returning back to his house, he fills up his car with gasoline. While checking his pocket, he finds no money but dust. Here a great secret is revealed about that room. and demanded things from that room will be perished leaving the house. He rushes to the house and begins checking once more. He is curious as to why this is happening. At last, what is the reason behind it? But he finds nothing except electric wires. And these electric wires are not only in the basement but in the whole house. That baby is bitterly weeping, so Kate takes her out of the house. Matt forbids her to not take him outside. But he does not reveal the truth. In spite of this thing, she goes out of the house. As she goes outside, the baby starts weeping loudly and his complexion is also changed. After some time, the baby's sound is no more but Kate is shrieking. She's calling Matt. Then Matt brings both insides. Then a strange thing is encountered. Their small baby is not an infant now but had transformed into a 7 to 8 years old child. Then we know that the given living things of that room will continue to grow up going outside the house. And the growth of this age will turn him into an old man, putting him to death. So this is the reason that they had to keep him inside. Kate is left surprised knowing it, but she had accepted that child till then. And there are matrimonial issues between husband and wife. Even they begin to live in different rooms. Kate's son Shane is everything to her. Matt paints the black and white color in his room. Shane is normal like other kids in living and appearance. But he is disallowed to go outside. There was a dispute between them taking Shane. Once Shane awakes the whole night due to their dispute and continues to wander in the whole house. Wandering in the house, he reaches near the electric wires and wheels in the basement. And everything is begun to clear before him gradually. And he also visits that room. He comes to know about the secret of his arrival in this world and he has extra powers. Then next day, Shane converts that room into a garden with many trees through his imagination. There is also snow and he makes snowmen with it. Kate is satisfied with that child because she is fostering him considering her own child. But Matt is unhappy thinking that the child can do anything using his extra powers. And that child was devalued. In the meantime, Matt receives a call from John Doe from the psychiatrist's hospital. And he exposes his reality that why did he kill that couple. He says that I had killed that couple because of their wish for a child from that room. That child was no one but John Doe. He had grown old, so it was necessary for him to go outside for searching. And he had to lead a life as a normal being. But there are many restraints. Then the room tells him that he will have to kill that person who wished for his arrival in the world. So it is a cause that he kills that lady who desired. And her husband also becomes the victim. So he's imprisoned. Kate overhears all this conversation from another phone and leaves the house furiously taking the car. That big mistake has been committed by her. She does not return at home late night and continues driving. While Shane is asking for his mother, Matt reveals the reality in anger. That we have demanded you from that room. And going outside, you will grow within 5 minutes and die after getting old. Then he brings him near the door dragging him. But he becomes emotional taking him as a child. In it, he apologizes to that child and tells a story. Then they behave like father and son. Returning back home at midnight, Kate is pleased to see both together and thinks Matt finally accepted the child. Then Matt is awoken and they both are alone in the room. And Shane observes them outside the door and his heart feels something for his mother. And he is also aware of the whole reality. Then he goes outside the next day. He is transformed into a young boy of 17 to 18 adult as he returns. He attempts to shoot Matt coming inside. Kate is bruised and loses her senseless in the meantime. As Kate restores her senses, Matt tells her that he is dead in a fight between us. Hearing it, both are saddened. That we had got a child for few days but now he is no more. Then Kate says to him, I don't want to live here but leave. Then Matt replies, we have no money. And above all, we can attain everything for our survival, so we should not leave this place. Kate feels Matt's changing behavior which is turning him strange. Suddenly, he behaves oddly. and it comes to know that it is not Matt but Shane who was transformed into a man. Shane was aware of his extra powers. He transformed him into Matt because of her growing feelings for Kate. Then Shane changes that room into his house. Shane takes unconscious Kate into that room. Awakening, Matt searches both throughout the house but he is not able to find both of them. Even that room is also locked. Making a big hole in a side wall, he goes inside, where he finds the tangled electric wires. Removing them, he goes to the other side of the wall, where he finds the same location as his house. Then Matt understands that it has been done by Shane. Kate faces two persons of Matt's appearance. In confusion, she calls Shane who responds to it. Then he comes to know about the real Matt and Shane. And Kate escapes from here taking Matt. Everything was under the control of Shane's power. He begins to change the setting of the whole house. And they don't find any way for escapism. The real Matt was running outside the house. Shane chases them over it. But they had come to a real house crossing that wall, and Shane also comes into the real house after them. Matt brings him out of the house dragging. And then Kate shuts the door. Staying outside for a long time, he grows and transforms into an old man, putting him to death. Kate is disturbed after this and then they leave the house. And the movie also ends here.